Meet Dr. Orange. A curious scientist, Dr. Orange was a funny scientist. He loved to learn new things. He went to school for a long time. He studied science and how things work. Dr. Orange was always excited to try new experiments. He wanted to make cool discoveries. His lab was full of test tubes and beakers. He had lots of machines that made weird noises. Dr. Orange wore a white coat and big goggles. He looked like a typical scientist, but he was different from other scientists. He liked to do things his own way. Dr. Orange was very smart. He knew a lot about chemistry and biology, but sometimes he was too eager. He didn't always follow the rules. He thought he knew better than everyone else. This would soon get him into trouble. Dr. Orange had a special love for oranges. He thought oranges were the best fruit. He wanted to make something amazing with oranges. He decided to do an experiment with orange juice. Little did he know this experiment would change his life forever. One day, Dr. Orange had a big idea. He wanted to make super orange juice. He thought it would give people lots of energy. He gathered many oranges in his lab. He squeezed them all into a big container. The juice looked bright and yummy. Dr. Orange added some chemicals to the juice. He didn't read the instructions first. He thought he knew what he was doing. He mixed everything together with a big spoon. The juice started to bubble and fizz. Dr. Orange got very excited. He decided to taste the juice right away. He didn't wait to test it properly. He took a big gulp of the orange mixture. It tasted very strong and tangy. Dr. Orange felt a weird tingling in his mouth, but he thought this was a good sign. Dr. Orange wrote down some notes. He called his creation Orange Laws. He thought it would be the next big thing. He imagined everyone drinking his special juice. He dreamed of becoming famous. But things were about to go very wrong. Soon after drinking the juice, Dr. Orange felt strange. His stomach started to make funny noises. His skin began to feel itchy all over. He looked in the mirror and got a big shock. His face was turning bright orange. Dr. Orange started to panic. He tried to wash the orange colour off, but it wouldn't come off. The colour seemed to be coming from inside his skin. He realised his experiment had gone very wrong. He wished he had been more careful. His hands and feet turned orange too. Even his hair started to change colour. Dr. Orange didn't know what to do. He couldn't go outside looking like this. People would laugh at him. He felt very silly and embarrassed. Dr. Orange tried to find a cure. He mixed different chemicals together, but nothing worked. The orange colour stayed on his skin. He realised he should have read the instructions. He should have tested his experiment properly. Now he had to face the consequences. Section 4. Long-term consequences, becoming orange face. Days passed and Dr. Orange was still, well, orange. People started calling him Orange Face. He couldn't go to work at the lab anymore. Everyone stared at him when he went outside. He felt very sad and lonely. Dr. Orange's friends tried to help him. They brought him books about safe experiments. They told him to be more careful next time. But Dr. Orange didn't want to do any more experiments. He was too scared to try anything new. The orange colour slowly started to fade, but it took a very long time. Dr. Orange learned to be patient. He realised that some mistakes take time to fix. He spent his days reading and learning more about science safety. After a few months, Dr. Orange could go out again. His skin was almost back to normal, but he had learned a big lesson. He knew now that being careful was very important. He decided to use his experience to teach others. Section 5. Learning from mistakes, the importance of instructions. Dr. Orange started giving talks at schools. He told students about his mistake. He showed them pictures of his orange face. The kids laughed, but they also learned. Dr. Orange explained why reading instructions is important. He taught them about safety in science experiments. He showed them how to use goggles and gloves. He told them to always ask for help from adults. Dr. Orange became known as the safety scientist. Kids loved his funny stories and important lessons. Dr. Orange wrote a book about his experience. He called it The Orange Lesson. In the book, he explained all the things he did wrong. He also wrote about how to do experiments the right way. Many people read his book and learned from it. At home, Dr. Orange started doing experiments again. But this time he was very careful. He always read the instructions first. He tested things slowly and safely. He found that he could still make cool discoveries, but now he did it without turning orange. Section 6. A lesson for all caution in science and life. Dr. Orange's story teaches us many things. It shows us that being careful is very important. This is true in science, but also in life. We should always think before we act. We should ask for help when we're not sure about something. Reading instructions might seem boring, but it can keep us safe and help us succeed. Dr. Orange learned this the hard way. Now he wants everyone to learn from his mistake. He says, it's okay to be curious, but we must also be responsible. Science can be very exciting. It helps us learn about the world. But we must always remember to be safe. We should wear the right gear and follow the rules. This way we can have fun and stay safe at the same time. Dr. Orange's story had a happy ending. He turned his mistake into a chance to help others. He showed that we can learn from our errors. We can use our experiences to become better and wiser. And sometimes the biggest mistakes lead to the most important lessons.